it's cheesy, but everybody has a bucket list.
I've never even had an orgasm with another person.
Good.
We're just two lunatics going into Gilead on a wing and a prayer.
They will never see us coming. Come with me.
Just remember that they're AIs.
Hello and welcome to Arts24. Today on our monthly TV series show, Dying for Sex, a bold new series about female sexuality and terminal cancer. We'll also be looking at the new seasons of The Last of Us, Black Mirror and The Handmaid's Tale. For all that, we're joined by our critic, Dheepthika Laurent. Hello, Dheepthi.
Hi, Eve.
And we're starting with a new French-American drama called Étoile, which is out on Prime Video.
Yeah, that's right. It's from the universe of Amy Sherman-Palladino and Daniel Palladino, the husband and wife team who brought us The Gilmore Girls and also more recently The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So this series, Étoile, follows the struggles of two ballet academies in Paris and New York, headed by Charlotte Gainsbourg's Geneviève and Luke Kirby's Jack, respectively. A plan is hatched to save both companies by swapping their star dancers in a marketing ploy. The series also has a lot of familiar faces from the Sherman-Palladino universe. There's Luke Kirby, who of course was in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but also Yannick Truesdale, who you might remember as that snooty inn-maker on The Gilmore Girls, and also real-life ballerinas Unity Phelan and Tyler Peck from the New York City Ballet and Boston Ballet principal dancer John Lamb.
It certainly sounds intriguing. Let's take a look at Étoile and hear from two of the cast members, Lou Delage and Charlotte Gainsbourg, talking more about the show.
Your company, it's in trouble.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Reviews don't matter.
It's a whimsical story between New York and Paris, straight from the minds of Amy and Dan Palladino, who are characters themselves. And so for those of you who have seen The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, it's also tinged with that something a little bit extra that's a little bit above normal life.
This is the stuff dreams are made of.
Shall we begin?
Let's begin. You don't compromise. It's the reason I wanted to do this.
I feel that we don't act in the same way in English and in French. In English, I have fewer personal references, so in a way I'm freer. Because in French, you immediately understand the tone you're going for, what it sounds like. Whereas in English, for me, it's a little more vague, so there's more freedom.
Again. I did it exactly like you said. I did shoo whoosh, skip the whoosh. I did not skip the whoosh. You did. It's awful.
And you mentioned, Dheepthi, that the show's creator, Amy Sherman-Palladino, is also behind Gilmore Girls and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And we can see that same style here. So how did it fare?
Well, indeed, there are a lot of similarities. You have that kind of fast-talking dialogue. You have this exploration of cultural stereotypes between France and America, but also French and Americans. And also something that's very characteristic of their world, very quirky, neurotic characters, lead characters. French actress Lou Delage plays the star ballerina Cheyenne, who's this perennially angry environmental protester who hates ballet but suffers from its immense talent. So that kind of thing. I just didn't feel the chemistry, particularly between Luke Kirby and Charlotte Gainsbourg's characters. I just thought it lacked a bit of magic, it lacked a bit of substance too, and we didn't really scratch beyond the surface of what it's really like to be a ballerina in this world, this cutthroat world. And also the characters, I don't know, it seemed a bit caricatured for me.
Oh, it's a shame because it sounds very France 24.
Exactly.
Very bilingual. And well, next to a groundbreaking series called Dying for Sex on Disney+. It stars Emmy Award-winning actress Michelle Williams as a woman with terminal cancer on an erotic journey. Tell us more.
Yeah, it's based on the hugely successful podcast of the same name. So Michelle Williams plays Molly, a woman who's told that she has terminal cancer. And basically, instead of deciding to die comfortably, she leaves her husband and embarks on what would be the horniest last 5 years of her life, supported by her best friend, Nikki, played by Jenny Slate. Take a look.
I'm too young.
I haven't done anything with my life.
I know it's cheesy, but everybody has a bucket list.
I've never even had an orgasm with another person.
Good. We have something for your list. Orgasm with another person.
This series is inspired by my best friend Molly, she was just a really beautiful person I hope that this show reminds people that unconditional, deep love does not have to be romantic. I hope it shows you that it's never too late to dig deep and find out what you really want.
I actually was wondering if anyone had any tips for how to keep dating and having sex.
The sort of awkwardness of being alive is where the jokes are coming from.
Do I look like I have cancer?
No.
Okay.
You look like you have chlamydia.
I would describe this series as a really good sex party with a whole bunch of consent.
Watching TV, tired, bleeding on the bed, and milk is just expired, all your needs are dead.
I want to feel everything for as long as I can.
So a really good sex party with a whole bunch of consent. It really does seem very bold indeed. What did you think about it?
Excellent, Eve, really. I mean, I say this every month, but maybe it's like one of the best shows of the year. It's, in any case, a show like nothing you've seen before. Michelle Williams and Jenny Slate offer us such a range of emotions, disbelief, anger, impulsiveness, desire. And, you know, it offers a very innovative and fresh look at female sexuality, but also female friendship. The scenes are very unfiltered. And it tackles things like female masturbation, dom sub fantasies, all of this within a character who's dying, which is all the more extraordinary. There was one scene that struck out for me. So you have Molly's doctor, who's this old white man, who's telling her, not asking her, that basically to manage her terminal cancer, they'll kickstart her menopause. And I thought that was a really striking comment about the lack of empathy, particularly when it comes to women's health.
Okay, it's definitely going on my list. Next up, you're going to take us through two acclaimed dystopian series, which are back for 2 seasons. And we're starting with the 6th and final season of The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, that's right. Margaret Atwood's dystopian novel turned TV series The Handmaid's Tale is back for its 6th and final season. It follows handmaid turned rebel June Osborne, who's played by Elizabeth Moss, who's also producer on the show and actually directed 4 of the episodes this season. So Moss's June and her fellow handmaids obviously seeking to overthrow the theocratic totalitarian state of Gilead, which forced them essentially to become baby makers. There's lots of plot lines this season. New Bethlehem, which is Gilead's sort of liberal experiment, but also the fates of June. Serena Joy as well, who's a true believer, and Serena Wiley's Moira, also Samira Wiley's Moira, also gets a very deserved, much deserved chance to shine this season. You know, it's a series that's been hard to keep viewers engaged in because the content is so dark and depressing, but showrunner Bruce Miller says this season will have a happy ending, or the series will get its happy ending. But we know that it doesn't include the toppling of Gilead because Hulu has confirmed a sequel TV series called The Testaments that's in the works. It's based on Atwood's follow-up novel that's set 15 years later, in which Gilead still exists. In any case, The Handmaid's Tale has always sort of been a mirror of what's going on in world politics. It's interesting to note that the series debuted in April 2017, about 90 days after Donald Trump was elected president for the first time, and this final season coming 90 days into his second term.
Interesting. Well, I'll be happy to watch it, but I'm glad it's ending.
Yeah, it is very depressing.
From a theocratic dystopia then to a futuristic one, Charlie Brooker is back with season 7 of Black Mirror on Netflix.
Yeah, he's back with a new biting satire on society, politics, and humanity, tackling issues this season like gaslighting, but also AI. I'll be honest, this season, I feel the series has sort of lacked punch as the seasons have gone in. But this one opens on an absolute gut-wrenching episode starring Rashida Jones and Chris O'Dowd, who play this doting couple whose lives are upended when she suffers from a brain injury. She's then directed to this new technology that can basically back up her brain before an operation and then reload her brain post-op. Very on-the-nose commentary about the U.S. healthcare system, but also how streaming services and insurers abuse subscribers through tiered pricing plans. The season closes out with a sequel to season 4's episode, USS Callister. That episode had actually picked up 4 Emmys when it was released. I feel like there's definitely a sense of nostalgia and sort of wistfulness in this season that we haven't seen in previous seasons.
Okay, well, dystopia is certainly du jour this month. You're going to leave us with the hotly awaited second season of the Emmy Award-winning The Last of Us.
Yeah, that's right. It's based on the video game, of course, of the same name. This post-apocalyptic zombie series starring Pedro Pascal was a wild hit hit when it was released 2 years ago. It was also seen by critics as one of the most successful video game to TV series adaptations. So season 1 ended with Pedro Pascal's Joel storming the Salt Lake City hospital to rescue his surrogate daughter Ellie, who was the only known person immune to zombie bites, to save her from being killed by doctors who wanted to use that to basically create a cure against zombie infection. Season 2 picks up 5 years later. They're in Wyoming, where Joel's brother lives, but Ellie is angry at Joel. She doesn't know the reality of what happened in Salt Lake City. There's a lot of unexpected twists and sudden deaths this season. It's very dark, very, very dark. In any case, the series has already been renewed for a 3rd season, Eve, a sign, of course, of how much faith HBO has in this series.
Okay, well, there's lots to watch. Maybe you could come back with some joyous series
Sorry, not much joy
to
this
cheer
month.
us up. Next month, we're going to leave you with a look at The Last of Us. Season 2 is out now on HBO. Thank you so much, Dipti, and thank you for watching. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.
You okay?
Yeah.
We live. And what's that?
The fence.
What's inside?
People.
What's outside?